Square roots. We're going to simplify square roots. Whenever we simplify the square roots, this is the formula. This means that inside the square root, and by the way, we say a square root because the number outside is 2. Okay, so this number, we just going to state it, a square root. We're never going to write it. That's the one that we use mostly all the time. And we're just going to say the name, a square root, and the number inside should be a number to the second power. The way how this formula works is by rewriting the square root as a number or as an exponent, you see? And then you have n squared, and that will be the exponent 1 half. The way how this works is by multiplying 2 multiplies 1. That's how you get 2 divided by 2. The answer should be n to the first power. The exponent is when it's 1, we don't write it. So that's how they cancel each other out. They cancel because this number outside is going to divide the exponent, and that's the way how it works. Now, numbers that should be to the second power, those are numbers that we call perfect squares. And the list is huge. It doesn't end. For example, 1 squared, that should be 1 times 1. The answer should be 1. 2 squared, that should be 2 times 2. The answer is 4. 3 squared should be 3 times 3. So the answer is 9. 4 squared, that should be 4 times 4. So the answer is going to be 16. And 5 squared should be 5 times 5, which is going to be 25. And you get the picture, right? So these numbers will continue and it doesn't end. Now, what I want to do is I want to start by simplifying a square root of 25. We say a square root because the number outside is going to be 2. So the way how I have to work with this is by rewriting 25 as a number to the second power. Well, on that case, I'm going to rewrite it using 5 squared. You can see it, it's going to be 25, and 25 is going to be 5 squared. Okay. The number outside is going to be 2. That's why we say a square root. A square root. Now, the way how it works is by just dividing the exponents, right? You see this number 2? It's going to be divided by this other one, 2 divides 2, right? So I'm going to write it, 2 divides 2. That's how you get 1. When the exponent is 1, we're never going to write it. That means that the square root of 25, the answer is going to be 5. The next one, we're going to say a square root of 9. If I want to use this formula, then I have to rewrite number 9 as a number to the second power. Okay, so that means that number 9, I can rewrite it as 3 squared. So I'm going to write 3 squared. The way how I know we're going to get the answer is by showing how we're going to be dividing. This number 2 is going to divide the exponent. So that's how I'm going to write it. Okay, 2 divided by 2, you're going to get 1. Because the exponent is 1, we never write it. So that's how we know a square root of 9, the answer is going to be 3. The next one, 81. 81 is going to be a product of two numbers, and they have to be the same number. So that would be 9 squared. Okay, 9 times 9, the answer is going to be 81. So now we're going to say a square root of 9 squared. We can rewrite it, okay, by dividing the exponent by 2. So that is going to give you 2 divided by 2. That's how you get 9 to the first power. So That would be the answer. That's how we're gonna say a square root of 81. The answer is 9. Just by using this formula, you can see how this is gonna work, right? Now, that tells you that if you can divide the exponent by 2, that's how you're gonna cancel it, right? The exponent is gonna be canceled by the square root just by dividing. Now, it's not gonna be this easy all the time. Of course, they're gonna have to make it difficult, right? Now, you see 18? What they did, they multiplied any of these numbers. More likely, that's the way how you're gonna see those numbers, but because they wanna make it a little bit difficult for you, what they do is they take any of these numbers and then they multiply by whichever number they want. On this case, 9 times 2 is going to be 18. That's how you're going to see it. Okay. That means that if we're going to be simplifying this, we need to find the product of two numbers, and one of those numbers will be a number to the second power or a perfect square. Now, if I'm going to rewrite it, I know that 9 is going to be times 2. Okay. 9 times 2, the perfect square is going to be number 9. Now, I have to rewrite number 9 as a number to the second power. In that way, I can cancel the square root with the exponent. So I'm going to rewrite it. So I'm going to write 3 squared. That would be 9 times 2. The number outside is going to be 2. Okay, that's why we say a square root. If you can divide the exponent by 2, then that means that this number 3 is going to cancel. The square root is going to cancel the square. Okay, but now if that is the case, it's because 2 divides 2, you get 1, right? 2 divided by 2, you get 1. That's how you end up only with 3 to the first power. The exponent is 1. We don't write the 1. Now, if you don't see the exponent for number 2, the exponent is going to be always positive 1. Okay? But you can see clearly 2 doesn't divide 1. Because 2 doesn't divide 1, then this number 2 is going to stay inside the square root. So the answer is 3 times a square root of 2. Okay? And that will be the answer. Now, let's do another one. 75. Well, 75 is going to be we need to find a product of two numbers, and one of those numbers has to be a number that is going to be a perfect square. Well, look at this one, 25. If I multiply it by 3, okay, that would be 75. So that's how they always do it. They make it hard for you. So in this case, I know I have a square root, right? And now I have to rewrite 75 as a product of two numbers. And one of those numbers has to be a number to the second power, or what we call a perfect square. Well, for now, it's easy, right? It's going to be 25 times 3. Okay. And I know 25, I can rewrite it as 5 squared. And then that will be times 3. But you see this number 3, you don't see the exponent, right? So the exponent is going to be 1. And we say square root because the number outside is 2. Now, if we can divide the exponent by 2, that means that number 5 is going to be outside the square root. So 2 divides 2, you get 5 to the first power. Because the exponent is 1, we don't write the 1. And you see how this number 2 doesn't divide 1? Because it doesn't divide 1, that means that number 3 is going to stay inside the square root. Okay? And that's how we're going to get the answer. This one is going to take a little bit longer because we need to find the prime factorization. I'm going to do another video where things are going to get a little bit more difficult than this. Okay, it's gonna take a lot longer than these other ones. For now, that's it. Thank you.